It has been notable to see Mike Pence feature so prominently in the House managers' arguments at this trial, including in the harrowing footage showing how close he came to the mob with his family, including, little kids from his family. Do you know if Vice President Pence has watched any of these proceedings or how he feels about any of them?
We've been told that he is keeping track on them, but he is not planning to speak out for at least several more months about what happened to him on that day. His team says that he wants to keep a low profile, does not want to publicly speak. And if you talk to his team, they were not subpoenaed or requested to testify either in their telling. So he's trying to not say much publicly about what's going on.
Given that, it's interesting that his team is speaking out publicly to correct the record. This assertion by the president's lawyer today that he's sure that Trump cared very much about it, was concerned about him that day. Right. Why correct that? Why is it important to them to correct that record?
Well, I think folks around the former vice president are very frustrated with that telling, Rachel. He gets whisked out of a chamber at 2:24 as a mob is descending on him. Some of them yelling, "Hang Mike Pence." He's taken into one secret room, then he's taken into another after a Secret Service detail decides the first room is not safe enough for him. He's taken into one of the more secure parts of the Capitol. They've never really told us where, but he never hears from the president. His team never hears from the president. The president, is watching television. He's hearing from senators. He knows what's going on. He's closely wrapped, and the vice president doesn't hear from him. Many hours later, former Vice President Pence's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, calls the White House and says essentially, if you guys are concerned, we're okay. We haven't heard from anyone. We're just wanting you to know we're okay, and we're planning to go back and certify the results later this evening. And it takes 5 days for the president to ever speak to the vice president again. The following Monday, Jared Kushner goes to the vice president's team and says the president would like to meet with the vice president, and they broker a meeting. But the president's lawyers today are saying he was very concerned about Mike Pence. But if you talk to people around the former vice president, they say, if he was concerned, he never showed it. In fact, he egged it on with that one tweet saying that Mike Pence didn't have courage. One other point that I want to make, Rachel, is that, right before all of this happens, the former president goes to the Ellipse and he makes these comments saying, basically goading Mike Pence, saying, Mike Pence has to do this for us. We'll be very disappointed in him. Mike Pence, right before he had gone to the Capitol to certify the results, had told the former president that he was going to do that. He was going to certify. And he told him about 24 times in the past 2 weeks, we had been told, that he was going to certify. And the former president kept putting more and more and more pressure on him. So when he goes out and kind of elicits a crowd to feel even more negatively about Mike Pence and kind of leaves them hanging in suspense, we'll see what Mike Pence is going to do. Folks around the former vice president believe that was disingenuous because they say he knew exactly what we were going to do. And then once we got into the chamber and the former vice president is certifying the results and gets whisked away, the president then attacks him.
So the president is telling the mob something about there being an uncertainty about what Pence is going to do when he knows, in fact, what Pence is going to do, thus knowing that when he puts it to the crowd this way, they're going to react with extreme negativity toward the vice president. Wow. Washington Post White House reporter Josh Dawsey, thank you so much for your reporting on this and for your time this evening. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.